2K TV, we'll be breaking down some post moves with Mike Wang, hanging out with the Spurs' Austin Day, and showing off your top plays of the week. So click on this button below to start the show.
And brought to you by Sprite. It's the 2K pregame show.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson along with Shaquille O'Neal as the NBA season begins to pick up steam. Our matchup tonight taking place in Sacramento, Sleep Train Arena, as we watch the Kings go up against the Chicago Bulls. For Chicago, they've definitely started the season right with a hot start, and that's certainly been a great sign towards their effectiveness in getting that momentum going. Hey Shaq, the Sacramento Kings, as you well know, were thought to maybe be moving their number 8 pick in the draft, but they stuck with them and then they took Nick Stauskas.
Yes, the Kings were rumored to be in numerous trades, but ultimately, Ernie, we kept our pick at the last moment. We love this kid, Stauskas.
He can really shoot it, can't he?
He can shoot the ball, he can stretch it. Not above the rim guy, but we don't need one of those with big cuz down low. We need a guy that can shoot that jumper.
Game's about ready to start. Let's get to Kevin Harlan.
Two teams, two conferences. It's a road game for the Bulls in this one. This is 2K Sports bringing you the NBA. I'm Kevin Harlan, calling the action with my broadcast partners Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. After this game, the Kings head back out on the road. After dropping the first 3 games of the season, they need to turn it around.
Well, I think for Sacramento, they found themselves in the playoff picture here in the early going. This is not something most people expected, but here they are making noise.
They're showing signs of life this season, Clark, and after a tough season a year ago, some definite optimism. The question is just how good can this team become?
Let's check out Chicago's starting lineup. McDermott and Gasol, the duo at the forward. Rose is out there with cool hands, and it's Noah in at the 5 spot. Here's Gasol, can't get it to go. Now Sacramento takes it the other way. Defeated by the Pelicans in their last game, they'll try to put that one behind them.
And, you know, Kevin, despite the outcome, I think they got to be feeling pretty good coming into this game. There were a lot of positives they can take away from that performance.
Yeah, you can't dwell on the final score in that case. You have to think about the things you did well and build on those.
Here's Rose. Drains it from 17 feet out.
Wow, he was just wide open there. That's way too easy.
Now Collison.
Jason Thompson, 6'11", out of Rider College. Not a big-time program, but he was well-known coming out of that school because of his ability and his size. He's proven to be a pretty solid NBA player, very well-rounded game.
And Jason Thompson able to step outside and hit a jump shot from time to time.
And he's a good, solid shooter and scorer, Kevin. Not a great free throw shooter, though, but he does finish inside. I liked him. I liked him as Rider, and I like what I've seen of him so far in the play.
Darren Collison could be the fastest player in the NBA with the ball in his hands. Westbrook, Parker, obviously in the conversation as well. But Collison, the son of 2 track stars, he is just explosive.
You know, the defense that time was just content to stay out of the way. I mean, no resistance at all. They let him do exactly what he wanted to right there.
Steve, no one looked too anxious to take him on.
No, you know, guys, I think that speaks to his strength and his agility. I mean, he's not a guy you want to stand in the way of as a defender.
And Collison loves to use his quickness at both ends, a blurring transition, Clark, and defensively, he'll hound you for the full 94 feet.
Well, again, we've talked about this before, Kevin. You've got to play to your strengths. He's a little undersized, but as they say, speed kills him. He looks to make the most of his speed.
Here is Collison, following the 3-point basket by Chicago, and the foul on Derrick Rose. That's his first foul. So first quarter just over a minute and a half in. Thompson sets the pick for Cousins. The pass to Gay. He dishes it to Collison. He feeds it to Cousins. Shot clock at 6. Low block shot. It's hauled in by Noah. The Bulls have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. To the inside. It's stolen by Stauskas. Collison with it. Matthews covering. Outside Collison. Dishes to Gay. Takes a 3. Another shot. And it's laid up and in by Thompson. Thompson's got his first points of the night.
That's some tenacity inside, battling for the second chance points.
Here's Matthews. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Rose has got 3 assists tonight.
Drop that one in as soft as a feather using the finger roll.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
A bit ago, Mike Malone and I were able to chat. One player he doesn't want to overlook is Pau Gasol. He said Pau has that hook shot that is nearly impossible to guard, and that most of their defense on Pau will be centered around denying him the ball and forcing him to catch it away from the basket. We'll see if they can execute that plan, guys.
And thank you for that, Doris. Fast break. Here comes Chicago. Rose with the ball. Collison with it, averaging 14 points a game. Some nice ball movement here by the Kings. And Cousins kicks to Collison. For 3. And it's Chicago with the rebound. They come into this having outplayed the Clippers last game.
And a very confident performance offensively, I think. Really, how this team clicks. I mean, when they're communicating and executing, sharing the ball, they're tough to beat.
And Steve, you got to love that kind of performance on the road. I mean, to be a great team in the NBA, you have to be able to have that kind of performance in the other team's building. Really solid.
Now McDermott. Darren Collison missing from long range. Just 5 to shoot. And here's Matthews from the arc. And again, it's the Bulls from deep.
And as hot as he's been this quarter, the game plan should be simple. Get him the ball and get out of the way.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Sacramento was one of the teams in the West that really struggled against the Eastern Conference, and a lot of it had to do with their turnover.
As you said, I mean, the Kings were one of the few West teams that struggled against the East. 13 wins out of conference, which was second lowest in the West.
Taj Gibson's checked in for Chicago. And Matthews gets it to go.
He is just tearing it up this quarter. That lead's not going anywhere while he's this hot.
Here's Collison. Gay, a screen on Rose. The drive by Collison. Thompson outside. The kick out to Collison. Again, the miss by the Kings. As you mentioned, it was turnovers that really hurt the Kings against the East.
You know, they did some things well and played their game for stretches, but when you turn the ball over like the Kings did, you have to play every other facet of the game perfectly to stand a chance.
The Kings trail by 8. Passes it to Cousins. Cousins with a screen for Gay. Off the pick. And then Cousins with the dunk.
You know, who says the big guy doesn't like to attack the basket? I mean, could have fooled me on that one.
Yeah, nice change of pace for him to power one home.
Yeah, it's not usually his role, but he takes advantage of the situation there.
Now here's Collison. And the foul on Derrick Rose. That's foul number 2 for him.
Well, he's got to watch himself now. I mean, that's 2 fouls already, and he can't afford another one.
Catching up on the changes for Sacramento. Carl Landry's checked in for Thompson. And Ray McCallum subbed in for Stauskas. And Chicago also making a switch. Heinrich's checked in. Timeout is called, first of the game for Sacramento. And going against Chicago, their first meeting of the season.
Always a little tougher to see how you match up with teams in the opposite conference because you just don't see them very often.
So for the Bulls, Mirotic is checked in for Noah. Dunleavy comes in for McDermott, and it's Butler in for cool hands. Gay outside, hits it from three-point range. Gay's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Steve talking about the lack of games with reps between these two teams. There's not a lot of history between them, and this is their first chance this season to create some, I guess, with one more meeting later on coming up.
You know, that's what we get when it's East versus West, Kevin, but it certainly hasn't detracted from the atmosphere in here. I think, if anything, it's added a little something to it.
I agree. There's the lob to the hoop.